Rumors are that allegedly someone is trying to purposely sabotage Kandi's restaurant empire. Who is it? Well, I have some new information that may answer that question and more right after this. What's up, kinfolk, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. If you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. All right, kinfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about, and it centers around rumors that allegedly someone is purposely trying to sabotage Kandi's restaurant empire. Who is it? Well, I have some new information that may answer that question and more, and here it goes. Allegedly, things are not all well with Kandiburruss' restaurant empire in Atlanta. A source said a recent bad review from TikTok food critic Keith Lee has left Kandi's OLG restaurant in shambles. Over the last couple of years, Kandi's restaurants have seen some minor and major issues occur. From shootings and to food inspection issues, Kandi's restaurants have seen it all. However, behind the scenes, Kandi's restaurant team is allegedly extremely nervous about the recent TikTok review from Keith Lee. The source continued, Kandi's team allegedly isn't so much worried about the review, but upset about how the invite for Keith Lee to visit the restaurant wasn't approved. The source explains, rumors are that it was an employee not in management who invited Keith Lee to visit the restaurant without prior approval. But that isn't all. Allegedly, the employee had other plans for the visit. So, what were they? Well, another source said, allegedly, behind the scenes, the employee in question wanted Keith Lee to visit the restaurant so that they could purposely sabotage the visit to make Kandi look bad. The source continued, many people thought it was Todd who set up the visit and dropped the ball, but allegedly, he too had no idea about the visit. Also said the source, the visit was indeed a complete chaotic mess, something the alleged employee wanted to happen, but it wasn't all bad. Keith Lee was approached by staff after leaving, but the conversation wasn't as hostile as some think. From what I can tell in the source, Kandi definitely needs a new team at her restaurant, someone or some people to have her back at all times. Fans seem to also agree. One fan on social media said, I've been to OLG several times. While the food is always good, the service is oftentimes lacking. Another comment read, OLG is barely passing inspections, so I'm not surprised by this complaint. Another fan said, Kandi is always taking unnecessary heat for her restaurants. Keith didn't even eat. So his complaint about the service defeats the whole purpose of his visit. And lastly, one fan commented in support of Kandi saying, shaking my head, Black people always jump at any opportunity to tear down another Black-owned business. All sources agree that this negative OLG review does seem fishy, and that the truth probably will come out during season 2 of Kandi in the Game. We will just have to wait and see. Now, kinfolk, when this issue came about today regarding Keith Lee's review of OLG during his food tour in Atlanta, I wasn't too surprised by some of the comments that some people were leaving under his seamlessly negative experience. But I will say this about the whole review, and it's probably not too much of a surprise, and it's this. It does seem as if this whole visit was a setup by someone who does not have Kandi's best interests at heart. Someone who probably does not want to see Kandi's restaurant not necessarily succeed, but get some pretty much well-deserved praises. I myself, have visited the restaurant I think twice, and both instances have been pretty good. The food is always good, and also the hospitality from the staff seems to always be on par to what you would expect from an establishment owned by a celebrity. And I say that because oftentimes establishments owned by celebrities tend to carry a certain esteem to where staff automatically knows that they're supposed to carry themselves in a certain way. Because you're not only representing yourself, you're not only representing the restaurant, but you're also representing a celebrity. And with a celebrity as big as Kandi, and with the platform that she has, I would always imagine there might be sometimes that the customer service may be lacking, but I'm willing to bet most of the time the service is on point. So I kind of do agree with one of the commenters when they said that, so I do somewhat agree with the commenter when they said that the whole purpose of the trip was for him to eat, and so his complaint kind of defeats the whole reason for the visit. Now, kinfolk, there is another part of this rumor that I do find very interesting, and it has to do with Kandi and her entire restaurant empire, and it's this. Like I said, I do think the review is kind of like not fair, simply because the whole point was for him to eat there. Now, I do understand that, being a food critic, the service is a part of the experience, but it's probably, in my opinion, only 20% part of the whole food experience at a restaurant. However, I do feel like it is, again, unfair the way that a lot of people have come to the comment section to pretty much bash Kandi. And it all goes back to the whole tribalism of the Real Housewives universe. I do believe there are some fans of Real Housewives of Atlanta who just do not like Kandi. They may be team Phaedra, or they might be team Marlo, and their whole intent and purpose is always to make Kandi look bad, which is unfortunate because, in my opinion, it's not the fact that people are trying to tear down a black-owned business. As one of the commenters said, that black people always jump at an opportunity to tear down another black-owned business. I do, however, feel like people do always take the opportunity to speak negatively about a Kandi-owned business. And I think that's because a lot of people, I feel like, are uncomfortable with the amount of success that Kandi has achieved. And that's evident when you see comments about Kandi's place on the show. People oftentimes are commenting that we're tired of seeing Kandi opening up businesses and, echoing Nene's sentiments about how Kandi is always getting spinoffs and how she doesn't deserve the spinoffs and this, that, third, fourth, fifth, and the sixth. And it all just goes back to the whole thing of, Kandi is a businesswoman and she's about her money. And I think that when you look at what Kandi has brought to the show, I feel like, her promoting her businesses on her show is just a natural involvement of who she is as a person. If you are a Real Housewives of Atlanta fan, you know that for at least, oh my goodness, I want to say for at least the first 8 seasons, no, probably 9 seasons out of the 14 that she's been a part of, that Kandi has put her entire life in front of the cameras, which shows that she is willing to do the work and willing to open up the good, the bad, and the ugly. So with that being said, I do think she does get pretty much a negative rap when it comes to her businesses that I do think is really unjustified because, she's showing you as a black woman the ins and outs of being a businesswoman, the struggles, the triumphs. And I think that is to be celebrated and not necessarily talked down upon in a negative way. Now, kinfolk, the last part of this rumor that I do find very interesting, and I find this part of the rumor very interesting simply because I hope at least this part of the rumor is true, and it's this. My sources cannot confirm or deny if the production cameras were rolling for next seasons of OLG or Kandi in the Gang. But I can say I hope that part of the rumor is true, that the cameras were rolling for this incident, because I think we all need more context and we all need more behind the scene footage on exactly how this whole situation went down. Now, I will say that this particular incident does somewhat mimic what other people have said about the long wait times at OLG, and how some people have been seated before others who have been there longer. But I do feel like this is a different situation, because Keith Lee, in his own respect, is a celebrity. So it would kind of be interesting to see how he, as a celebrity, reacted to this situation of being seated before other people who have been waiting in line before him, who had longer wait times or shorter wait times, depending on where they fell on the list. So with that being said, I do hope that this part of the rumor is true, that the OLG cameras are rolling. And if they were, and if Kandi allows this scene to make it to an episode, I think it's just a further testament unto why Kandi should be celebrated as an entrepreneur. She is not afraid to show us the nitty gritty. She is not afraid to show us the ins and outs of being a Black woman who owns multiple businesses. I think oftentimes we look at the negative and not the positive. There are not many Black women in Atlanta, or in this country for that fact, who is doing the things that Kandi is doing in business, and at such a young age. And so I do feel like this review, while it is his honest opinion, I do find it a little unfortunate, because it does take away from all the amazing things that Kandi has done with this restaurant franchise in particular. But kinfolk, I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that this review was justified? Do you think that Keith Lee was right to walk out the restaurant after receiving special treatment as a celebrity? Or do you think that he was just pretty much overthinking it, and that he could have at least stayed and tried the food and not necessarily jump in front of people, or just could have taken a takeout order and then just left? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But also, kinfolk, I want to know this. Do you all think that Kandi gets an unfair rap when it comes to her businesses? Do you think people just always jump at the negative when it comes to Kandi because they don't like her, or they don't like her business practices or tactics? Also, let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. All right, kinfolk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys over on the next one. Peace.